So in Pokemon Scarlet, the whole theme is that we're going to this academy, to this school. And in this school, there's actually classes you could take. There's a nurse, there's a director, there's a bunch of crazy stuff like that. And if you go through all of it, you can actually get some pretty cool rewards. So I'm going to take you guys through an in-depth walkthrough guide, whatever you want to call it, on how to get every single reward, because there's a bunch of different things that depends on each person, part of the staff of this school board. Like I said, there's the director, there's the nurse, there's the teachers. You have to go through the classes with the teachers. There's a midterm and a finals exam for each teacher, and you got to get the right answer. So I'm going to give you guys the right answers for those as well. I'll let you guys know exactly what you can expect from a reward from them to see whether it's worth going through the hassle or not, and all that good stuff. So you guys do appreciate this video. If you do enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more. And without further ado, let's jump into this. So first things first, yes, I am on Violet, but it's going to be the same thing whether you're on Scarlet or Violet. When you go to the kind of front entrance here, you can talk to the receptionist, and when you talk to her, you can go ahead and you can actually join classes. Now, I don't have any classes right now because I've done them all at the time of recording this kind of intro portion, but you can go ahead and select any classes. Now, you'll have a few classes there at the very beginning of the game, but you're going to need to progress the story in order to unlock more classes. So as you complete, gym badges and things like that, you'll unlock more classes. And same thing with the other two paths as well, because you have to do all three story paths to complete the entire story of the game. So just progress that, because you're going to actually need to do the Starfall path as well as the Titans path as well for two of the two of the staff, two of the teachers. So we'll get to that, and I'll explain that once we get there. But just make sure you do all the story and progress through it. So if you see that any classes are not available or missing, progress through the story and they'll unlock. Okay, so now that you got that part covered, the way that you can kind of bounce around afterwards is this screen. It's kind of really important to let you guys know. You go to this screen, you push A, and that's how you kind of bounce around different locations in the school. We're going to be using that a lot in this, and it's also worth noting that if you see an exclamation point beside one of them, like this one for example, that you can go there and talk to the person. You can actually see which person is there to talk to. In this case, this is a specific teacher. So if you're ever looking for a teacher to talk to progress what we're going to be going through, that's what it's going to be. But the first thing we're going to do is actually go through the classes. So like I said, we're going to go one at a time through each of these classes, and I'll give you guys all the answers, and I'll tell you guys exactly what kind of rewards you're going to expect from these teachers. So if you guys are ready, let's start off with the biology teacher. Now this one is actually a little bit of I guess an exception, if you will. So with all the other teachers, you have to basically interact with them multiple times, and I'll explain that when we get to those that require that in order to unlock the reward. But with this one, you don't. So this one, you just got to go through his class. You got to do the midterm and the final. So you're going to have about 4 classes, and then the midterm will pop up. And again, you go to the front receptionist every single time to do the next version, or the next class rather. So anyways, let's go ahead. Once you get to the biology midterm, these are the answers you're going to have to give. Okay, so for question 1, there's going to be 5 questions for every test. For question 1, you're going to answer ZR button. For question number 2, you're going to answer A, which is 2. For question number 3, you're going to answer walking around. For number 4, you're going to say giving them a berry. And number 5 is going to be gym badges. And then for the final, which you're going to, so after the midterm, you got to do like another 2 or 3 classes, I think it was. I think it's maybe up to 4. I think it's like 3 or something. Anyways, then you're going to have the final pop up. And for the final test, you're going to answer for the first question 2. Second question is going to be false. The third question is going to be no, it won't. The fourth question is going to be 1 in 4,000, and the fifth question is going to be false. So those are going to be the answers for the midterm and the final for the biology class. So once you get through all of that, what you can do is, like I said, you can go to the screen beside the receptionist, and it's basically these screens are everywhere, and you go ahead and you look kind of through the map until you can see where the face of the teacher pops up, where there's an exclamation mark, and you go to that room to talk to him. So I believe it's actually, in this case, just the biology class, or biology lab you go to. So when you talk to him, there's actually you got to kind of complete the Pokedex, right? So there's going to be rewards for completing 4 different stages of the dex. So basically how this is going to work is for 30, I guess, entries in the Pokedex, so 30 Pokemon caught, he's going to give you the TM False Swipe. Once you get 100 entries, he's going to give you 20 Ultra Balls. 200 entries, he's going to give you 20 Quick Balls. And finally, I don't have gameplay for this because I haven't done it yet, but at 400, he's going to give you the Shiny Charm. So that's how you get the Shiny Charm. So 400, all the whole deck's complete, he'll give you the shiny charm. So that's the biology class done. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one we're going to do is Miss Tyme. She is the math teacher. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is go through all of her classes once again. So let me just go straight into it and let you guys know all of the answers for the midterm and for the final. So for the midterm, the answer for number 1 is going to be double damage. Number 2 is going to be half damage. Number 3 is going to be 11. Number 4 is going to be about 4%. Number 5 is going to be 1.5 times as much. And then for the math final, it's going to be number 1 is going to be 5. Number 2 is going to be 75. Number 3 is going to be about 12%. Number 4 is going to be triple damage. And number 5 is going to be 2. Those are all the answers for the midterm and the final. Once you do that, what you have to do, and this is going to be similar for a lot of the teachers moving forward, is you have to interact with her 4 different times. So again, you got to go to that screen, you got to look around the different locations in the school, you got to see where her face is popping up at, you go to that location, you search for her, you go and talk to her. Okay, so you do that 4 different times. She's going to move around different locations. That's how it's going to work for each of these most of these teachers. So once you've interacted with her the first time, it's going to say something at the very end, something along the lines that you got slightly closer to her, and then the second time is going to be that you're even closer, third time is going to be trusted, and the fourth time is going to be a close bond. And on that fourth time that you interact with her and you finish her story, which by the way, each of these teachers have their own little kind of side stories, she's going to reward you with 50 Terra rock shards. Okay, 50 Terra rock shards. Now, if you don't know what those are, again, once you get them, you can go ahead and take a look at what they are. But basically, it has to do with the Terra kind of thing. So there's different kinds. There's Ghost, Rock, Dragon, basically for every kind of type. And basically, they say that on rare occasions, these shards form when a Terra Pokemon falls in battle and its Terra Jewel shatters. So that's kind of the idea of having these on hand. So anyways, 50 Terra rock shards, which she's going to give you, and now we can move on to the next teacher. All right, so the next one's going to be the history teacher, Miss Raifort, if I'm pronouncing her name right. And for this one has a little bit of a kind of caveat, if you will. This one you have to complete all the shrines. There's 4 different shrines. I have guides for all of those on my channel. I'll try to remember to link them down in the description below. There's a yellow, blue, purple, and green. That's the 4th one. So you got to do all those. Each one's going to give you a legendary Pokemon because she's very interested in all of this research. So that's what you're going to have to do in order to get through the ending section. But first things first, you actually have to go through her class. So let me go ahead and give you guys the answers for her class. So for the midterm, the first one's going to be the Great Crater of Paldea. Number 2 is going to be Treasure. Number 3 is going to be approximately 2,000 years ago. Number 4 is going to be 805 years ago. And number 5 is going to be Knowledge. Then for her final, number 1 is going to be Area 0. Number 2 is going to be 805 years ago. Number 3 is going to be a folding fan. Number 4 is going to be Heath. And then number 5 is going to be 10 years ago. So those are going to be all of her answers for her midterm and her final. Once you get through all of that, again, same kind of thing with the math teacher. You're going to have to look for her across the school. Again, you go to the computer screen, you find out where she is, but when you scroll through the different list, you can see her face pop up on the right side of the map. You go to that location, you have to interact with her 4 different times as well. So again, the first time you're going to grow a little bit closer to her, second time you're going to get even closer, third is going to be trusted, and then on the 4th time that you interact with her, again, she's going to bounce around different locations. On the 4th time, she's going to give you the reward if you have completed all of the legendary shrines. If you haven't done that yet, she's not going to give you the reward. So that is a little kind of caveat that you must finish that. And if you've done that and you've interacted with her 4 times, on the 4th time, she's going to reward you with the TM 140 Nasty Plot. So you're going to get the Nasty Plot TM from her. So that's the history teacher, and we can move on to the next one. All right, so the next one's going to be the languages teacher, Mr. Salvatore, and this one has a pretty great reward, if I do say so myself. So we're not going to waste any time. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what the answers are for both of his tests. So for the midterm, number 1 is going to be thank you. Number 2 is going to be delicio, or however you pronounce that. I don't know how to say that. Number 3 is time to eat. Number 4 is compliment them. Number 5 is Salvatore. For the languages final exam, it's going to be number 1, delicio, or however you pronounce that word again. Number 2 is going going to be I love you. Number 3 is going to be anger. Number 4 is going to be happiness. And number 5, once again, is going to be Salvatore. Once you've gone through all of his tests, his midterm and his final, again, same kind of thing. You're going to look for him at one of those computer screens in the school. You're going to go through the list, look wherever his face is popping up on the right side on the map in the computer screen, and you're going to go to those locations. You're going to interact with him 4 times. Okay, so again, 4 times. On the 4th time that you interact with him, and again, all these teachers have their own little side story. On the 4th time, he's going to reward you with a Galarian Meowth. Not just any Meowth, but a Galarian Meowth. I've already made a video on that specifically, but I'm throwing that into this video as well because it's part of the whole kind of in-depth walkthrough. So that's how you get a Galarian Meowth. Pretty awesome stuff, and we can move on to the next one. All right, so the next one's going to be Battle Studies. The Battle Studies teacher, Miss Dendra. And I'm not going to waste any time, as per usual, throwing up on screen right now the answers. We got, so for her midterm, number 1 is going to be Special. Number 2 is going to be the move's name. Number 3 is going to be 4. Number 4 is going to be Terrestrializing and Attacking. Number 5 is going to be Fighting. Then for the Battle Studies final exam, the answers are as follows. Number 1, Go All Out. Number 2, Auto Battles. Number 3, Exchange Materials. Number 4, Level 50. And number 5, True. So that's how you're going to get through her class. Those are all of the test answers. And then after, same thing as everything else. You're going to go to one of those computer screens or whatever, and you're going to look across the all the different locations in the school. Again, her face is going to show up on the right side of the map whenever you're hovering over the right location. And then you're going to go to all those locations one by one. You're going to interact with her 4 different times, just like all the other teachers. And on the 4th time, she's going to reward you. So she's going to reward you with 10 bottles of protein, which is pretty good. So 10 bottles of protein is what you're going to get from her. It's a nice kind of little reward. I mean, I think so, if you will. So if you don't know what protein does, by the way, basically increases base points for Pokemon's attack stat. So to have like 10 of those, pretty good and pretty easy stuff. So we can move on to the next teacher. All right, so the next one's going to be art teacher. So the art teacher, Mr. Hassel, which you might have recognized if you played through the story. If not, I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. So Mr. Hassel, we're going to go through his class as well, and I'll give you guys all the answers for his test. The midterm, the number 1 answer is going to be Terajewel. Number 2 is going to be the grass type. Number 3 is going to be Hexagon. Number 4 is going to be Medali, and number 5 is going to be there's no correct answer. And then for the final exam, number 1 is going to be the Treasure Eatery. Number 2 is going to be surrendering, Sunflora. Number 3 is going to be 2. Number 4 is going to be Levincia, and number 5 is going to be false. So again, once you complete all of his classes and pass all of his exams, which by the way, if you fail any exams, you just redo them right away. Once you pass all his tests, you're going to go ahead, like as per usual, to the computer screen, wherever they are in the school. If you're already in a room, by the way, all you got to do is leave the room. So when you leave the room or go to one of the computer screens, you look for his face, as you hover through the list, and wherever he's located, you're going to go there. You're going to interact with him. Again, you have to interact with him 4 different times. And again, all these teachers have really cool little side stories, so I would definitely recommend reading all of the dialogue and all that. But anyway, so for Mr. Hassel, once you interact with him on the 4th time, he's going to reward you with 50 Dragon Terra Shards. So kind of like how we got 50 Terra Rock Shards from the math teacher, well, he's giving us the Dragon variation for Mr. Hassel, the art teacher. So we can move on to the next one. We have 3 more. So the next teacher is going to be the home EC teacher, Mr. Saguaro, if I'm pronouncing his name right. I don't know, might be butchering that. So there's a little caveat here too as well, but I'll explain it once we get through the tests. So first, let's get through the testing. I'll throw it up on screen again. Home EC midterm. The first answer is going to be increasing speed. Number 2 is going to be fillings and condiments. Number 3 is going to be Oran Berry. Number 4 is going to be true. Number 5 is going to be false. And then for the final exam, number 1 is going to be sparkling power. Number 2 is going to be it helps hatch strong Pokemon. Number 3 is going to be make food with others. Number 4 is going to be Pokemon wash. And number 5 is going to be, it doesn't matter. So once you get through all of his classes and pass all of his tests, his midterm and his finals, then we can do the exact same thing. We're going to have to interact with him 4 different times. So as per usual, you either leave the room that you're in, or you go to one of those, computer screens, and then you go through the list. As you're going through the list of all the locations in the academy, you look for whatever one shows his face pop up on the right side of the map, and then you go there, and you rinse and repeat. You do that until you interact with him 4 different times. On the 4th time, there's going to be a little caveat. You have to complete the game. The reason you have to complete the game is because he's going to ask you for a very specific item. The item is Sweet Herba Mystica. But there's only one way to get Sweet Herba Mystica, and that is from level 5 raids. But there's only one way to get level 5 raids unlocked, and that is by completing the entire story of the game. That means you have to do all 3 paths. You have to do the main kind of victory road path, right, with the gyms. You have to do the Starfall path, and you have to do the Titans path. You have to do all that, and then the grand finale, the big ending, which I'm not going to spoil for you guys, but you got to do that, and then you'll unlock the ability to do level 5 raids. Now, I don't have gameplay of this because I've done many level 5 raids, and I got Spicy Herba Mystica, but I could not get the sweet variation. And actually, I only got one time I got the spicy. I got no other variation. You get sweet, sour, spicy, I think maybe salty. There's a bunch of different ones, but it's specifically the sweet one. But if you do go through the hassle of doing it, all he's going to give you is a Slowpoke cup, which is basically something you can use in picnics. So doesn't sound very exciting to me. I found a random screenshot online of the rewards so you guys can see. But yeah, that's basically what he gives you. The Slowpoke cup, I don't think it's worth it, especially with how hard it is to get this one ingredient. But if you want it, go ahead and go through it. Now, we can move on to the next one. We have 2 more to go. So the next one is not a teacher at all. The next one is actually going to be Nurse Miriam, and there's not really anything you got to do for this one except interact with her 4 different times. So again, same kind of concept. You either leave the room that you're in, or you go to one of those computer screens. You kind of go through the list of all the locations, in the academy. Look for wherever her face pops up on the right side of the map. When you're hovering over it, you go to each of those locations one at a time. You speak with her, and basically that's how you do it, right? On the 4th time that you speak with her, she's going to give you 10 max revives, which is pretty epic. I mean, 10 max revives, those things get pricey, so it's pretty easy to get those. And again, she has a really cool, interesting little side story as well. They all do. So that's it for Nurse Miriam. Not very difficult to do, and we can move on to the final one. So for the very final last one, it's going to be the director himself, Director Clavell, if I'm pronouncing his name right. Now, there's no class for him either, but you have to complete the Starfall path. I'm not going to explain why that is. You'll have to find out for yourself, but you have to complete that path in order for this to unlock. And so once you've done that, and again, you can interact with them throughout if it shows the notification, or just wait to the very end. But once you complete the Starfall path and you've interacted with him 4 different times, again, it's going to be the same process. You go to the computer screen. Actually, you don't really have to go to the computer screen, because I can tell you that he's always going to be in the same spot as far as I'm aware, which is the director's office. But if for some reason I'm making a mistake and he's somewhere else at one of those times, again, you just go through the list. You look for wherever his face pops up on the map of the school grounds when you're kind of going through the list, and you go there. Interact with him 4 different times, and on the 4th time, he's going to reward you with 1 big nugget, which, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure those can be sold for 5,000 Pokedollars. Might be a little bit more than that, but I'm pretty sure it's 5,000. So you get a good chunk of change for selling those at one of those, the blue stations at the Pokestops. So that's Director Clavell, and that's actually the final one. So that's all of it, my friends. Those are all the teachers and all the school academy staff and all of their rewards and how you get every single one. Let me know which one's your favorite, and if you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, it really helped you guys out. Again, be sure to leave a like, share it with your friends so more people can get all of these awesome rewards in their own playthrough, and stick around for more content, my friends. Do Nintendo and Pokemon content here on this channel, and non-Nintendo content goes on a different channel. You can find a link down in the description below. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, my friends, game on. I'll see you guys soon.